Most of you know that I can be pretty tough on rifles and pistols, but I do my best to give them all a fair chance. And I always try to keep in mind that even though something may not fit me or be my style, it very well may be great for somebody else. Well, the PDP series I have pretty much been sold on since the first pull of the trigger, even though I was quite suspicious of them prior to purchasing my first PDP. I currently have about 10 different Walther PDPs in different variations, sizes, and flavors. And yes, every once in a while I do lick the slide to see if the flavor is right on it. But this one, out of the box, has to be one of my favorites so far. The reason why is that it just comes out of the box with everything you need and want on a pistol. And that being said, I do have something that I'm going to knock it for that I think could be just a little bit better. All right, the PDP Pro ACRO version. Why do I think that this is not only one of the best pistols out there, but probably the most complete duty pistol right out of the box, and hands down one of my favorite striker fired pistols of all time. Now we can all tell just by looking at that thing that it is a polymer striker fired 9mm pistol. But the Pro variant comes with a lot of things that the standard PDP model doesn't come, and as the model says in the name, this version is milled direct to slide for the Aimpoint ACRO, which is included with the pistol in the package. This version is the 4.5 full-size variant. It comes with 3 18-round magazines, which should just be the industry standard at this point. It is 8 inches in length, 6.9 inches tall, weighs 27.5 ounces with an empty magazine. But this version comes with the dynamic performance trigger, which is amazing. And yes, we will do some trigger pulls and put this thing on the gauge so you can see what it is all about. But you also get the addition of an included magwell with this pistol. And like I said already, the Aimpoint ACRO is included along with some XS tall night vision sights with a bold front that are actually usable while the optic is on the pistol. So thank you for doing that right when so many other manufacturers still put standard height sights on an optic ready pistol. So why do I like the PDP series so much, specifically the Pro SD and now the Pro ACRO version? First of all, the ergonomics on this thing just absolutely fit me. So if you like a less aggressive grip angle, this is one that is likely going to fit in your hand a little bit better and just aim a little bit more naturally for you out there on the range, so you don't have to wrench your wrists forward like that to kind of lock that pistol down in place. It's got an ambi slide stop slide release that is extremely easy to activate. What seems to be a perfectly placed and sized magazine release, which is reversible, custom back strap so you can fit it to your hand size. And even though it doesn't have the lowest bore axis as compared to other firearms out there, it's absolutely amazing on the range at speed and returns to zero almost instantly as long as your grip is good. I would say it's easy to estimate between the 10 of these or so that I have right now that there are a collective at least 15,000 rounds through all of them, which have been 100% reliable except for like 1 or 2 ammunition issues where I had like a bad primer. Now, some of you may not like the looks of the PDP pistols because they're thick chicks, but trust me, when you run them on the range, they kind of grow on you. But as far as the rest of the range performance, like I said, this thing, the angles, the ergonomics, the controls just absolutely fit me, so I am a little bit biased. I do love these things, so bear that in mind as I talk about the PDPs in the future. I predominantly ran 124 grain Badlands munitions because they are my boys out here in Arizona, and they are extremely consistent and their QC is very high, and I trust their ammunition after having so many problems with all kinds of ammunition over the past 2 years. All the ammo costs on this video, by the way, were covered by Brownells, who is my go-to in the industry when I am in need. I will have information for everything you see here and we talk about at the build list. It'll be the first link in the description down below. And for those of you hardcore souls out there watching this at your employer, casting it to the break room TV, I'll put that QR code for you right up there. The feel and function of the PDP out on the range, no matter if I'm just practicing from a static position or moving and running around, it just aims effortlessly due to those grip angles. Everything from the trigger guard, the size of the controls, the trigger on there, which is amazing, that dynamic performance trigger. It's just top notch. The mag exchanges are super easy due to that generous mag well. And having 3 mags, again, just keeps you moving out on the range. I have run everything from 115 to 147 grain self-defense plus P ammunition, and every Walther I have seems to eat it all effortlessly. But this does not mean the pistol is absolutely perfect, because even though I love it, I'm definitely going to be tough on it. The only complaint I hear from most people when it comes to the PDP series of pistols is they don't like the thick look of the slide. And I get it, it's a little odd, but trust me, like I said, she's a thick chick. but once you run her a little bit, you're gonna like her. The other thing is that people say because of the higher bore axis and the springing and everything, and the lightweight, it's a little bit snappy on recoil. And I can see that, but as long as you have a good grip, this thing can be run extremely flat and extremely fast. And I've showed slow motion clips in all of my videos, but the things, as long as your grip is good and solid, it's just a really fast pistol that returns back down to exactly where you want to aim instantly. And it's one of the few pistols that I actually look forward to going out and running and testing these days. But one of the biggest things you hear about that people love is that amazing trigger in there. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that right now, along with everything you get with this pistol, so you have a really good idea of the total package. Let's talk about a little what do you get when it comes to the PDP ACRO. So minus the Streamlight right here, you're gonna get the ACRO, the pistol itself, magwell, dynamic performance trigger, all the stuff we talked about, right? You will get your standard case here. You will have 2 additional magazines. There's 1 in the pistol for a total of 3. Should be the industry standard. You'll get a standard tool that comes with it. You get a couple of your back straps, chamber flag, your lock, and then up here on the inside, you're gonna get all of your manuals and everything, plus you will get your aim point ACRO tool, which you're going to need for zeroing and all that stuff. I will say that mine did come zeroed right out of the box, so I didn't need to do anything additional, and it was dead on from the factory, but always double check that. So looking at the pistol itself, you can see for an XL, XX size hand right there, you get a really good fit, especially with that magwell to catch the pinky, and overall just a great fitting and feeling pistol. Now talking about that trigger, it's the dynamic performance trigger that you can buy and put in your PDP if it doesn't have it, but it comes factory in the Pro variant. So very nice engagement with the trigger shoe safety. That is your wall right there. So take up wall, instant break. Reset here, right there, and a break. So this thing, it's just hands down one of the best triggers for a duty pistol available right now in the market. So we'll go ahead and pull this on the gauge here. And you know what? Big shout to my Patreons. I swear I have the best Patreons. One of them sent this in because they were tired of the mechanical gauge. And I really just can't thank you enough for that, because it helps the whole audience, right? Okay, so 2 pounds and 9 ounces on that one. And I pulled really low on the trigger because I want you guys to see the difference in where you put your finger and how that can actually affect trigger pull weight. So we'll go dead center right now on this one, as long as I don't slip. 3 pounds, right, almost on the money. And then I'll try to get as high as I can on that trigger shoe safety and just show you the difference in what you'll get right about there. Okay, just barely made it. So that goes up to 5 pounds. But again, if we pull from right about center, where most people are gonna put their finger, 2 pounds and 7 ounces. So that just gives you a really good idea of what that trigger is gonna do based on where you put your finger. Work it low, right? It gives you the best break on that trigger and the best pull, right? Right around there. If you pull this thing from way up here, the trigger is going to feel completely different. So just bear that in mind. And now it's time for a snack. Now, are there any issues, gripes, things I would change on this pistol? Because nobody gets a free pass on the channel, and I mean nobody. So mechanically, the thing is top notch out there. I love running the pistol, but there is one thing that I would personally change on this that's both an aesthetic thing for me and my kind of like OCD, but also I think is a functional issue. And that is going to be the side cuts here on the magwell. And I know someone's gonna blast off in the comments and say, those are there so you can strip a mag out from the side. And I totally get it. But there's enough room right up here in the front where I can bury my finger or my thumb in there, strip that magazine out. So me, if I had my druthers out there, I would prefer just a clean, smooth line all the way around, continuing that line, because usually when I'm having an issue with a mag exchange, it's when I'm on the move or sometimes just getting started for the day. And it's likely because I'm hitting one side or the other. So that tiny bit of additional surface area would just be perfect to give me that little bit of an extra edge. And I know practice will make you perfect, right? But having been in a lot of odd situations in life where things are chaotic and rapidly evolving, I can tell you having a better magwell just makes your life a little bit easier. Now this one isn't bad, but it's an aesthetic thing and kind of a functional thing that I think personally would make the pistol just like 2 to 5% better overall. And I know some people may really think that is nitpicking, but I honestly think that is one thing that would make it just that tiny bit better, because nothing is absolutely perfect. However, for the 1249 Galactic notes this can be had for, with that aimpoint ACRO, the trigger, the mag well, 3 mags, and everything else, the sights, I really do think that this is hands down probably the best value for a duty pistol right out of the box. When it comes to other little preferences here, some people may say they would want like an RMR HD or the RCR over the aimpoint. Is the ACRO the most durable optic out there? No, but it's still pretty damn good. The only other thing I could think that somebody might coin as a negative would be the slide is direct milled for the ACRO footprint. So I don't see that as a big issue because there's plenty of other optics that carry the ACRO footprint. So should I ever destroy that aimpoint and decide I want to go with a different optic or brand, there's probably going to be plenty of them out there for the foreseeable future, even though the aimpoint has that COA thing with Glock now. But I'm pretty sure the ACRO footprint is going to stick around for probably the next at least 10 years. Now, I know some people are still going to disagree with me, so if you know of a better overall package for a production style duty pistol that's out on the market at the same quality price line with the same quality sights, both red dot and those iron sights, definitely let me know down in the comments, because I would like to know that as well, because right out of the box, this thing is just good to go. Make sure you guys get subbed up to the channel. That parts list will be the first link in the description down below. And remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.